you guys are both touching on, and what's really important is that you have this healthy balance here, right? We got to get our users invested. We have to make sure that they have the training, that they understand why this isn't only important, this is critical. But then you have to make sure that the tools that you're using on the back end are going to support the policies that need to be put in place, or whatever it is, to make sure that they're trained, they're on board with what we're doing, but they're also forced to do that at the end of the day, right? That's what I found to be hugely important, and what we really talk to our partners about.
Yeah. One other thing that we're kind of mentioning in a roundabout way is that security needs to take into account the user experience. That, whatever controls you put in place, it shouldn't adversely affect the users from doing their day-to-day jobs. If we're doing that, then users find a way to work around those systems and those things in place. I remember back in the day, you put in something, and first thing you know, people were using USBs, taking stuff home to do their work at home. That's
You're restricting my ability to work, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that.
Those handy Post-it notes underneath the keyboard. Look, I'm a proponent of maybe relaxing some of the password security requirements if you can get 100% adoption of MFA. I'd rather be on that side of the house than, hey, you got to have, a 36 character alphanumeric special character password. I think everybody likes that.
Yeah.
We like to say here at Proofpoint that there's 3 different types of people, right? There's malicious, there's compromised, and then there's negligent, right? Any of those can be an issue if you're not doing the right security awareness training, right? So I know we keep talking about that, but it's really important because most things happen because they haven't been trained correctly. They don't know the right things, right? They don't look for the email address to make sure that, oh, it actually isn't the person that I thought it was. I have this story that, that I know a CEO, and he was walking, I don't want to say the name, but he walked by his accounts payable person, and they're like, oh, I got the check done. It's about to go out right now. And he stopped. He goes, what check? And she goes, oh, I'm about to do a $100,000 check that you sent me the email. He goes, can I see that email? And it wasn't him. And she was literally about to send it, right? And if he didn't walk by, it would have been gone. So those things happen every day, right? So it comes from email, it comes from network security. Zero trust comes in, like I said when I first started with the discussion, was it's all parts of our lives. Like our keys to our car is zero trust, right? Do we let people just get in our cars that don't have keys to our cars? No. So what we do in our lives needs to compromise or kind of look at what we do in security. Security is our lives, and it's everyone's problem. And I'm going to say that probably 20 more times.
Yeah, you know what? This might have been 2014 where it really kicked off in the Bay Area. I was VP of IT for Scale Venture Partners, and one of the other VC firms was phished, and it was one of those scenarios where the CEO sent an email to the finance team and said, wire 500 grand, this is urgent. And the transaction actually went through. And that highlights a number of different things. One is user awareness, but also the ability for something like Proofpoint to look at these emails and make good decisions about whether that hits the inbox or not. So there's proactive training, and then there's proactive tool sets as well. And we need overlapping things in place, and sometimes multiples.
Yeah, and it goes without saying, right? Make sure you have encryption. Maybe look at a DLP tool that we also do that as well, information protection, what we call it. Because if you don't know what happened, how do you solve that problem, right? We have security, the security awareness training we talked about. There's so many things. We have social media protection, all these things that we're trying to find a way. And that's what I love about Proofpoint. And that's why I'm excited to be here, because we focus on the person problem, not the network problem, which again, I want to be very clear. It's a combination that we all need to do together for security, not just one thing, but we want to go to the heart of the problem where we can make the biggest difference, and that's with the people.
Dennis, how are you approaching this from, an organization providing security services? How are you layering this on to meet the current and future needs of your clients?
Yeah, that's a great question. We monitor the industry, and we select vendors that are not going to go away tomorrow. or be sold tomorrow. The last thing you want is, partner up with a company and then next thing you know, they're acquired and then that solution dries up. So that's why we partner up with Proofpoint and JumpCloud. We've been following JumpCloud since about 3 or 4 years ago, and JumpCloud has followed the digital transformation where they realize that the cloud isn't going anywhere. Everything needs to talk to the cloud, whether or not it's in a hybrid format or whether or not it's 100% cloud focused. Because there are businesses that are cloud only, and then there are businesses that are really dealing with the hybrid. So we're taking those companies that are core providers that we can leverage with our customers, like as Jason said, with the people first, with with Proofpoint, with email, social media protection, all of those type of things that they do to protect them, and then we use JumpCloud for the identity and access management that is so critical for businesses that have entities all over the place. One of the big thing is being able to onboard and offboard users in a cloud environment. So, for example, let's say a company has, Salesforce, Workday in the cloud. Then they have a share on premise for certain users. Then they have a division across the US or even worldwide. How do you onboard someone? You know, do you just ship out a laptop and they configure it themselves? How do you provision them with their email account and automatically provision them with Proofpoint protection, with JumpCloud? How do you encrypt all of those type of those devices in a central manner? And adversely, if somebody gets fired, how do you offboard them?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's even more critical because if you don't have centralized control over one piece, they can log in to a cloud resource even though you offboarded them through your Microsoft Office 365.
Yeah.
They still can log in.
That's a great point. Having your core framework and finding those pillars, JumpCloud, Proofpoint, for example, but then approaching things from a programmatic or a systematic way where you're less reliant on an Excel check sheet and more reliant on things that happen in an automatic
We've all been
way,
there.
Yeah.
eliminating that potential for user error.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dennis, my answer. Oh, sorry.
Oh, the onboarding, offboarding Excel spreadsheet is right there on par with the sticky note password. I'm just going to throw that
I agree.
out.
Yeah.
Dennis, I was just
go
going to say, yeah, it's all right. Dennis, I was going to say, how do you do that? Back when I used to be an engineer, manually, every single one, step by step. So yes, you gave me like anxiety thinking about that back in the day.
And then if your IT admin is the primary person and they are on vacation or they're sick, how does somebody step in and do that? It's like, okay, give them a spreadsheet. And they're like, I don't have a login to that.
If we go back in the day until they get back, that's the answer I used to give.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah, I can remember being a one-man band in IT and wanting to go off and go ride dirt bikes and be in an area where there was no cell phone signal, but having anxiety because the company may not be able to reach me if something goes wrong. And, getting away from that, but having a core foundation for security that you build on that addresses these things in a programmatic way is the way things I think should be done and is the future for sure.
Yeah, you look at the people, right? The security awareness training, getting all the network security, all the stuff we talked about before, but kind of making your army, right? Where you can actually go on vacation and you come in with the bigger problems, let them handle the smaller problems, right? Shouldn't click on that email, shouldn't pick up that USB stick in the parking lot that still people fall for, right? It's just those kind of things over and over again.
Yeah, the USB drives at conferences, taking those USB drives. I'm not taking a Proofpoint USB stick. I'm sorry.
Are you sure? I used to hand those out, but not anymore at conferences.
Yeah.
I used to just put a picture on there, see if they'd actually click on it with me smiling with my thumbs up, just to see who would actually open it.
Yeah,
Just
I
kidding.
once spitballed with my systems engineer. I said, a really clever way for a hacker would be to actually just put together a bunch of USB thumb drives, put it in SanDisk packaging, and then take them into Office Depot and put them on the rack.
Mhm.
No,
That way
no
it's
brainstorming
trusted.
here, Zach.
Yeah.
You're writing the blueprint.
When you're in cybersecurity, you have to think like a hacker in order to
You
figure
do.
out how you would
You have
prevent
to.
things to happen. So
Yep.
I've
Fair.
We're
walked
always a couple steps ahead, right? We're always trying to catch up.
Mhm.
and just nobody do that. That's a really bad idea.
Yeah.
Disclaimer. Yeah, no
Disclaimer, exactly.
coming.
Please subscribe and check out more content from us.